beautiful, amazing goddesses. Welcome to another adventure with my soul sister, bestie, Miss Connie Rose.
Good morning.
Good morning. The question we have for our listeners today is, well, now that you're aware, now what?
Yeah. So let the fun begin, right?
Let the fun begin.
And what does that look like? Like as lived.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
I think we so as the progression of this all goes, Connie's going to share with us some juice from this amazing book Frequency, and then of course we're going to share how it plays out in our real lives,
Yeah.
and what we see and how we work through, transform. We're aware that we're aware. Now what?
Yeah. So this information is from chapter 6. And last week we talked about like becoming more aware of our home frequency and what that feels like in our body, right? And this is like taking it to the next step, really.
Yeah.
And there's so many different things here. So I'm going to actually start at the end of the chapter where it's the recap because
Yeah.
there's so much. So you can engage with experiences and navigate through life by using your sensitivity to consciously feel into the world. To do this, you inch your way out through your environment, including and merging, like energetically, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like extending your awareness with people, objects, situations, processes, and events that you encounter. Instead of connecting with them, you enter into a state of conscious communion and know them as aspects of yourself from the inside. This fosters caring and compassion. It's important now that you imagine striking the tone of your tuning fork and sending your home frequency throughout your personal field as the organizing frequency of your whole reality. That means you may need to do some sorting and house cleaning to reaffirm the vibration you choose to have as the basis of your relationships, work, and self-expression. Your clarity increases the more you unplug from the dissonant vibrations. So like, like when we see those things, like that's why I think I've gotten so good at boundaries because I don't want the dissonance from people, places, things
Yes.
in my space.
Amen.
And unplug from self-sacrifice. I just got back from being with Master Lama Rasaji on the Ascension tour, and he talked about, this self-sacrificial thing that some religions you may have heard
And lived.
try to push you into that. Mm-hmm. And he said, no more Mother Teresa's, not the good works that she did.
Yeah.
The self-sacrificing martyr, really.
Yes.
Because it doesn't serve that energy doesn't serve anybody. So you know what works for you by sensing what's in harmony with your personal vibration, whether it's a lower or higher octave or different timbre of your home frequency. You interpret the subtle data encoded in waves and vibrations based on how your body responds, either through a truth signal, expansion, right? You feel the expansion when you're around truth and freedom and all those wonderful high virtues, right?
Yes.
You feel the expansion, or an anxiety signal, which is the contraction of your energy. Or via pleasing or displeasing sensory information. So again, it's about paying attention to your body, what are the sensations that are happening physically, because we are these antennas, not just to emit our frequencies out into the world, it's also to receive that information. And then like, what do you do with it?
Yes.
And how do you honor it?
Yes. And is in alignment with what you want.
Exactly. The earlier you pick up information, the less it will build to stressful levels. So becoming more aware really does make a difference. Your body is the barometer of what's happening around you and even of the near future. It's natural to directly share knowing through vibration with others whose frequency is similar to yours. And it talked about how those closest to you, like you could feel those those resonant frequencies. And it talked about at one point, and I did this with Nicholas, and I just thought, I was a Reiki master before Nicholas was even born. So I'd been aware of implementing energy practices for, a hot minute. I'm 51. I started when I was like in my 20s. And I would and I didn't really have words to it until I read the chapter.
Sure.
And it was really expanding my energy, sending it out to him. And what I would consciously do is I would send this energy from my heart to his heart in like a figure 8, motion. And I could always sense like what was going on with him. And I just thought that was a natural mother-child phenomenon. And I discovered it is not. And the really cool thing is, the day after Nicholas went to heaven, I heard this voice, I say it was the voice of God, say to me, you could still do that with Nicholas. And I could still do that with my mom.
Yes.
So this is like really pertinent in my world, at least.
Yes.
Skill to develop, not just in our day-to-day living life as we move towards where our soul is calling us and fulfill on. And when your loved ones go across the veil, to know that you can still have that kind of energetic connection.
Yes.
And this is the first holiday season without my mom.
Yeah.
And it's different than when Nicholas went to heaven. I have more brain patterns and habits and tools around grief. And a foundational piece of it is this. Now that I have words around it, I'm able to extend my home frequency out, not just, like I said, that we send it out to attract. We're also sending it out to gather information.
Yes.
To inform us, like, are we on track? Is this something that is lines? And I loved how it talked about, and I actually want to read this little part. This was like 30 pages, and so I'm not going to read most of it. But you want to pay attention to like, what are you noticing? And you start to have this like shared experience with whatever it is that you're sensing as your energy like goes out into like to touch and merge with the energy of whatever you're focused on. So it's this direct experience, and it's through feeling and sensing without the mind's commentary.
Key point noted right there. Without the itty bitty shitty committee.
I highlighted that, as you can see. Yeah, because it's really through, and it doesn't say this, I just know that it's through the heart. Our heart, they have measured the heart's distance out for like electromagnetical energy, that they can actually measure how far it goes out, and it was interesting also at this, like, I'm going to call it retreat that I just got back from. There was a lady there with dowsing rods, and so it's these rods that you hold and they move, and she was measuring how far our energy went out, and then if we did something else, then how much further it went out, like how to expand it.
Nice.
And so it's a real measurable thing. And so it talks about, I'm gonna skip over, like feeling into, like they give different suggestions, like when you're thinking about taking on a new activity or a new investment or a new, like, fill in the blank, like get present to that energy of that over there, expand your energy into that such that it starts to like check to see what the resonance is or the disresonance of it, And so here it says the subtle vibration of your truth signals and your anxiety signals. And I'm just going to read this because it really, I think, is once you kind of can label some of the feelings, and you'll know like, oh, this is what that is. So you're highly sensitive to truth and lies, safety and danger. When information registers in your reptile brain, it takes two forms, yes and no. You'll recognize these clues through instinctive feelings of expansion or contraction, of energy moving or not moving. Be careful not to dismiss these sensations as mere idiosyncrasies in your body. They are your very own conscious sensitivity discernment system. Like they're there for a reason. Honor that. When a choice or action is appropriate, safe, true, and on purpose for you, you'll feel expanding energy. You may sense energy rising, becoming active, bouncy, or perhaps you get hot for an idea, feel lightheaded or flushed with enthusiasm and butterflies. These responses are your truth signals, and you could feel them in various parts of your body. Some people experience a warm, spreading sensation across their chest. Others feel energy bubbling up from below their diaphragm into their chest, throats, eyes, which might even brim with tears. So like you've had those experiences.
Oh, yeah.
So moved. Yeah. Some feel blood rushing to their neck and face, making them blush, or energy moving up and down the spine or their arms, giving them prickly chills. I call them angel bumps. Still, others describe clicks and clunks as if something comes into alignment and drops into place. When an option or action is unsafe or inappropriate, false, or off purpose for you, you'll experience an anxiety signal. You may feel energy drop, recoil, darken, or tighten. Maybe you'll feel cool or cold or get a sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach. You may feel repulsed, become leaden, or turn into stone. Instead of blushing, you may feel blanch or feel gray or blue. You may feel pain or a literal hair-raising experience. Common anxiety signals are stomach ache or nausea, like you're sick to your stomach, a pain in the neck, tightness in the chest. There's a reason why that's a saying. Tightness in the chest, headaches, or a knot or fist-like feeling in the solar plexus. And so those body sensations are telling you more information that you may be realizing, because your body really is this barometer. And to honor that, I know for myself, many years, I just really stayed like from the neck up, and I was missing out on all this other information that was available. So your body registers information about your immediate environment and relationship, or about an event that's about to occur, because waves of vibration are constantly bringing you subtle data. So it's really to start paying attention to that. So do you want to know how a process will unfold?
Yes.
Imagine it, and your body can read the blueprint of the overall flow of events, expanding and contracting along the way as snags and breakthroughs are likely to occur. And so they talk about like qualities of a consciously sensitive person. And I'm going to read some of these because I think, this is what we're striving for, right?
Yes.
In the community that we're developing.
Yes.
So a consciously sensitive person has a strong sense of self and a malleable personality, is comfortable being a me and a we, a particle, a wave, and a field of awareness, enters, merges with, and becomes what he knows, is deeply caring and neutral, and uses empathetic state as the teacher. Like we just had this conversation before we got on today. Like, what am I here to learn about this situation, right?
Yes.
Perceives that outer impersonal reality, because sometimes we think that's not us, and consider it's actually the interpersonal one.
Yes.
With its information for us.
Yeah.
Highest good. Trust the subjective knowing parallels objective reality, is aware that the physical body is conscious and alert, uses her personal vibration to catalyze what she needs, works with universal energy to create and heal, heals by establishing oneness and love, eliminating doubt, heals others by healing herself, knowing that others are inside of her. Because we really are all of it.
We are one.
That we're separate. Like, so like when we're together, like, sometimes it's like, where does my energy end and begin, like, and yours begin, like, because we get on these, like, you know, flows of energy. Feels just right, movement and choice. Her choices feel deeply comfortable. Like you just had this knowing that feels like there's a physical sensation to that.
Yeah.
So you may not be aware of that yet, some of our listeners, right? And so start to pay attention. And you could really even just start like when you know you're in the flow and when you know you're with like a loving, safe environment, start to like be aware of like, how is my body responding to this? And then when you're in an obvious situation where there's no alignment, then start to pay attention. Like, what are the signs that my body's naturally doing?
Yes.
So I can begin to recognize and intuit. It's really how you strengthen your intuition.
Yes.
Yeah.
And with the holidays coming up, people will have lots of opportunities to practice this.
Yes. Yes.
Or not.
So, right. Right. And so, the last thing I want to share is the tips for becoming more consciously sensitive. When working with energy and awareness, knowing a few more key frequency principles can help you decipher the data encoded in the waves and vibrations. So there is a right use of will when you're feeling into. So when you expand your attention through the field around you to know with your sensitivity, don't push your way out. You just want to simply remain open, soft, curious. You hear me talk about curiosity all the time, and expansive. Let yourself receive what wants to come. Let yourself notice what your inner perceiver wants to show you. Your job is to expand and be impressed. Not like we think about being impressed, but like things can impress upon us. If you look into someone's eyes, for example, don't force your way in or you won't see anything. Let your eyes relax and be receptive and you'll receive a continuous stream of information. Number two, there's a difference between feeling into by going over to versus including. If you hold a worldview based on separation, you'll perceive that you're going over to feel another person, idea, event, or process. And you'll have a linear image of a connection. You're crossing a gap, and this takes willpower, as well as promoting the idea that you have to leave your own center to find what you want. When you do this, you must recenter after each foray. If you catch yourself knowing this way, make sure to come back to yourself and say, what do I think about this? Does this work for me? What is my version of this? If you don't recenter, you may go off on a tangent, get stuck in living in another person's reality, or feel drained. Remind yourself that you're always in the center of your personal field, and you can simply expand that field of awareness to include the thing that you want to understand. You never have to leave home in your home frequency. Your field will just do the sensing for you, like it's designed for that. This way, it's easier to merge with what you want to understand, feel it as an aspect of yourself, keep your heart open, and know from conscious communion. So like if you notice yourself like pushing it, that's against the design. It's just like allow, really allow. 3, it's a mistake to think you alone feel something. When you share responsibility with everyone for knowing things, because we're in this field together, right? Like it's not just happening to you. Answers and questions will emerge from the field magically, just as you need them. You'll find that everyone is a messenger of the one great unified self. Because everything's relaying vibrational information. Number 4, you receive what you need to know to do what you need to do in the present moment. And there's good reasons you may not feel too far into the future. You notice what's meaningful, and things are meaningful because you're learning a lesson related to perceptions. You receive information as you need it. As soon as you've used the information and integrated the experience it's meant to provide, you magnetize the next idea and experience. You may not be able to know too far ahead, or your intuitions about the future may prove inaccurate because you've been ignoring an important perception right under your nose. By integrating and using perceptions that may be stacked up like planes waiting to land, you clear a wider view. So you don't have to reach too far out in the future.
Yeah.
There's 2 more. 5, sensitivity is empowered by trust. Like we get to trust ourselves with this.
Yeah.
And validation. If you make an agreement with your soul and body to trust the subtle information that comes via vibration, to notice cues that indicate a message is waiting to be communicated, to decipher nonverbal messages to find meaning, to use the information to be a better person, and to validate the whole process regularly. So, like, acknowledge it, thank you, right? More, please. You'll optimize your conscious sensitivity skills. Again, it's like everything is a brain pattern and frequencies. When your body gives you the message via sensitivity, thank it out loud and hug, pat, or stroke it lovingly. Bodies love sensory input. So it's to acknowledge that, yes, I'm getting it. I feel it. It's working. And then more will happen. The last one is emotions. This is so important. Are exaggerated sensitivity signals. Whether your emotions are expansive and feel good or contractive and feel bad, you've probably been ignoring earlier, more subtle sensitivity cues, and the energy is built in intensity to attract your attention. Your emotions bring information about direction, what your soul wants, and what life lessons you need to pay attention to. So I just thought this was so like a kind of more of a practical way. You know, we're aware now of our home frequency, and how do we use it? Like, how do we take it out for a spin? And it's really a gentle process of allowing and just to be curious, you know, and gentle with yourself, and then acknowledge, like, yeah, that's what it was. And it's just like with any skill or habit, you'll get better and better and better as you go along. And I will say, like, you know, I've been traveling a lot the last couple, like 10 days. And and we've had these conversations, like the right people at the right time with the right information. Like it was I lived that, and it still amazes me, you know, when I was in Vegas last week, like 3 distinct people that I had no idea I would run into were there with very needed, important data for me.
Yeah.
To have me move more powerfully to the future I'm creating.
Yeah.
And it was just like, wow, this is so cool, you know?
Yes.
And that's what's available when we hone that skill.
Yeah.
So, like, what are you seeing and hearing and doing, and like, what you want to share?
Yeah. So first of all, no accident we are having this conversation, right? Based on the conversation we just had, like on the car ride in, right?
Yeah.
Like, whoa. What I want to share is an experience that I had. I did a master class with someone a couple weeks ago, and I had an experience that did not feel good, right? Because I really want to press into like the impact if we don't, I'll call it like clear the field, right?
Yeah.
So I had an experience with someone. She corrected me live on a Zoom. It did not serve me. It did not serve the community. So what I was really noticing was this resonance in my body that didn't feel very good, right? And so, like, I made the conscious choice to use my voice in a very loving way to communicate how I was feeling, with a commitment to have her be aware and begin to create something newly with her, right? So again, had I not made that choice to do that, what I want to share, like, is the impact would be I would be left with dis-ease.
Yeah.
Right?
So great use of word.
Yeah.
And yeah, because that's really this uncomfortable, like doing things that you know are not in alignment. It really does then result in because it's not easy. It doesn't feel easy in our body.
Yep.
And that's what leads to dis-ease.
That's right. It just goes and finds a body part and just sits right there and makes a home.
It does.
And so it took me a hot minute to come to, like, I've been dealing with this for probably a week. And it wasn't, I'm clear it wasn't who I was, and it's not who she is either. And so I really wanted to get emotionally grounded in a space that I could powerfully share with her to make a difference versus a complaint, right? Really begin to like effectively, and then co-create something. So now we're going to create an event with another, amazing leader that feels really good. But I just want you to get, like, I am very in tune, and like the just awareness that this can happen to me I want it to get like it. I get it's happening to you as well, or other people, and that it's just to like look at it and begin to go, okay, now what can I do about this? Like it didn't feel good. I knew it didn't feel good. I wanted to take some actions. I didn't quite know what actions I needed to take. I sat with the feelings. So this, as we become more aware, they actually need to get in tune with being able to hold the frequencies. So versus this up and down, up and down, up and down, like how can we hold it? We can be with it. And then I could actually look at like, what if this is about me? Like that I would have been offended, number one, like that was a learning that I got to grow through. Where else am I feeling this way and taking no actions, right? Like I just shared with Connie a whole bunch of things that we're gonna, transform in our business, like immediately because I had this breakthrough. And what if I really looked at how I've been feeling over the last couple of days? It was like I was doom and gloom, and I'm like, this is not who I am. And what is that about? Well, that's a compound effect of me not dealing with going at war with the dis-resonance or dis-ease in my body, putting up with like the continuing to put up with what doesn't serve my greatest, highest good.
It's that form of martyr.
It is.
It's subtle. It's subtle.
It is subtle and it's nasty.
It is. Yeah. When we're not aware.
Oh,
and we could lovingly say,
yes.
like, oh, that's where we were. Like,
yes.
Because I am so grateful because I know who you are.
Yes.
Like, I don't hear any make wrong. Like you are not yourself wrong because we do the best we can with what we have.
Yes.
And we continue to grow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can I share what I'm creating?
Yes.
Yes. So out of a breakthrough, so just final thing, and we'll let you go for the day, but out of this breakthrough, I am creating this 35 aligned. So we are totally inviting our entire community. I know Connie's going to be playing with us. So we've all heard of the 75 hard.
And who wants hard?
Well, I certainly don't. And I have done it. And it's served a time and place in that point of my life. Yeah. And I'm totally creating 35 aligned. So when does it begin? It begins on Monday, which guess what 35 days from Monday is?
The new year.
The new year. And this all came from, I did a really like vulnerable video of me doing some ab workout, and I'm like, I'm just going to post this as an accountability for myself. And it really, I got present to what if we as a community had an accountability of where we're going to bring in a few things like hydration, movement, gratitude, study, and then share with a commitment to inspire or encourage others that the norm would be we could all pack on 20 pounds from Thanksgiving to the New Year's, right?
Right.
Yeah. Not who I am, not what I'm committed to doing. So who wants to play with Connie and I and Cheryl and a couple other women that are going to come in and share into the group? And we're just going to share some gratitude every day. We're going to have gratitude prompt. So beginning on Monday, 35 aligned. We're just going to awaken the frequency of women and, it'll be fun and playful.
Now, I know how to get involved with that. How do our listeners get involved with that?
Yeah, so I'm going to create a private Facebook group. We will invite you, reach out to us. So again, I'm literally creating it today.
So you're going to have a post in our Soul Sister Adventure.
I'll put a post in our, yep. And then I'll post publicly on my page, and then you can share it if you want. Get into the group. We're going to begin Monday. It's going to be fun. It'll be aligned. And the commitment is really that you end the year in your highest, greatest vibration, and that you really set up powerfully for the new year, such that you're not beginning at January 1, begin now. And such that by the time you get into the new year, you are flying in momentum and you creating a life that you love and a life that you desire and you deserve. So let's do it together, because it's a whole lot more fun when we do it together. And we energetically will equip and empower the entire community.
So Master Lama Rasaji says, get free in 23 so you can soar in 24.
Come on, baby.
That's what we're doing.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right.
So before we end, I just want to take a moment. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and it's my favorite holiday because we get to really, it's the only holiday that's not about all this material stuff. It's just, it is about the acknowledging the beautiful things that we have to be grateful for, like all of it.
Yes.
And I'm gonna cry. I am so grateful for you.
I am so grateful for you. Are you kidding? I wouldn't be where I'm at without you.
Well, and you know, my mom said this to you. Like, I know Connie's gonna be okay when I'm gone because you have Shannon. So thank you for bringing the idea of a podcast and playing with me every week, and just being my soul sister, best friend, partner in this life.
Well, you pulled me out of the muck, trained me up, equipped me up so that we could do this together.
Yeah.
So thank you.
And I want to thank our listeners and our soul sisters.
Yes.
You know, we don't get to be us without listening and the support and encouragement and play with you.
Yes.
All of you.
All of you.
We really do appreciate all of you.
Beyond measure.
Feedback. Yes. So I just want to make sure we put that in.
Yes.
Especially.
Yes. Like it, tag it, post it, share it. Share with a goddess who needs a little uplifting, and get in the car.
Get in the car.
Love you.
Love you.